been a tough week for Inverness with Billy Dodd's departure on Sunday. So how is the sort of mood around the club?
Well, mood around any football club when the manager and his assistant lose their job is difficult. It's a difficult period, as you say, you're spot on, but I can only say the players have trained terrifically well. I mean, I've asked them when I first spoke to them Monday morning. Billy and Barry came in and said their farewells, and then I spoke to them prior to training and basically said, look, you've really got to try and keep your heads up as much as you possibly can and train well, and on Friday morning, and they've trained terrifically well.
And obviously yourself and John Robertson taking the team for the time being, but is there any timescale in terms of when a new manager will be appointed?
Well, not that I know of, just really what I've read, to be honest. I know the club seem quite keen to do it as quickly as possible, as most clubs do, but you know, there's so many variables in that you know, what hopefully will be achieved and what can be achieved can be two different things, but I know they want to get the new manager in as quickly as possible.
And obviously, you know, the results haven't been coming for Inverness, but how much do you feel from what you've seen in this squad that they do have it in them to sort of go on and push up in the league and get the results?
Well, I've seen the home games, and you know, they've had 4 one-goal defeats. That tells me a story that they're not a million miles away, but it also says that you are lacking in some departments that we've touched upon this week in the 3-4 days. But they're not a million miles away. By all accounts, I wasn't at the game. I've seen the highlights of the Wraith game last week. They played, well, they're the better team by a fair bit in the first half. 2 or 3 good opportunities. The goalkeeper has a couple of good stops. So they're not a million miles away, but they do realise too that they need to turn the corner and quicker, as quickly as possible.
And it's going to be tough this weekend facing Dundee United, who are quite on form at the moment. What's your thoughts heading into that game and how you approach that? Yeah,
we're playing one of the teams you'd expect to be challenging for the title. Good side, good players throughout the side, an experienced manager that's managed at this level successfully before. So yeah, it'll be. But it's a good game. I said that to the players again on Monday. Actually, I said that it's a good game to come into. It's playing against a good side. You'll need to be at your best. So I've basically thrown down the gauntlet to the players.
Okay, thanks, Charlie.
Hi Charlie, nice to see you. You touched upon Billy and Barry coming in to say their goodbyes. I guess that was a pretty emotional occasion for everybody.
Yeah, I stayed away. Obviously I stayed out of it. It's nothing to do with me. So yeah, I've been there, remember, so I can understand that. And you know, they're 2 friends of mine. They're 2 good football guys, but they know football. The results have been disappointing this year, and they were very realistic. I think it's a good word. So I wish them all the best. They're 2 good football people, but they're well aware that we're not in a position where we'd hope to be.
Absolutely. Feelings running high, understandably, amongst the fans. They're having a meeting before tomorrow's game. What would your message to the supporters be?
The fans, I'm a Caledonian Thistle fan, so I can understand. You know, they want us to be back in the Premier League, as do I. You know, because we feel we can be a Premier League club. We've been for many years in the top division, so I can understand the fans' frustrations, but they've got to stick with the club. That's what's been as football supporters all about. I watched Inverness Thistle from the 70s and 80s, and there was a long period they didn't win much, let me tell you. But I can understand the frustrations. They're having a meeting. I always think communication is a good thing in life. It's something that you learn as you get older. So if they're opening avenues of communication, then good on them. But I just want them to stick with the club.
And how's the team news for tomorrow?
Good, very good. We obviously got 1 or 2 boys missing, which is disappointing. 1 or 2 knocks. You'd love to have a full squad, but no, it's good numbers to pick from. 1 or 2 new faces have come in, obviously, in the last few weeks. They've trained really well, so we've got a decision to make. We're going to have a look at the training today, but I'll say again, I'll reiterate that they've trained superbly well this week.
Thanks, Charlie. Good luck.
You're welcome.
Charlie, you've been a keen observer of the team. You know, probably most games you've fulfilled the role in the past. You'll have strong ideas about what you would like to do with the team, but how much is it a balance given that you are only in for a short period of time, is it more about stability and more about maybe just wee tweaks?
Yeah, it's a good point. So honestly, I do think that's difficult to change things, and there's guys in the game who said it so often, in 4 days, 4 or 5 training sessions, you can't change too much, and you can actually make mistakes trying to change too much in a short period of time. The good thing is, I don't think there's massive tweaks required. We need to kick the ball in the net a bit more regular. That's a fact. But some of that's because we're not creating the openings. It was, where I played in the park. That's frustrating me a bit. We're not creating enough openings. So we've played in that, which I quite like, because it was how I played as a player. I don't want them playing safe passes when there's forward passes to be played. Things like that. So we've touched on little things and worked on things. But there's not massive tweaks to be made, and I'm glad there's not, because as you touched upon, I don't think you can make those tweaks with those changes within 4 days. So it's basically little changes, and what I want to see is every single player, and it's how I play myself, is give that little bit more, which is an easy thing to say, but sometimes be a bit harder to achieve.
Is it maybe a case that, given the poor run, the players have started to tighten up a little bit and be a bit safer in what they've done lately?
Absolutely. That's what I've probably touched upon more, because I like boys. I've coached. I've taken professionals. I've taken every age group of this club for a long time. I've taken thousands of training sessions. My belief is always to get the ball and play forward as much as you can. If it's not on to play forward, you play sideways or back and retain the ball. But I just think at times, as you say, and that does come from confidence. It's a fact. That's why it's spoken about so much in the game. And I want them to be confident. They've shown me in the small-sided games on Tuesday and Thursday, there's some good players in that squad.
Good stuff, thanks.
Yeah, and Mark touched on it. I mean, at the back, we're losing the odd goal and stuff, so it's not a big, massive difference. Up top, not scoring enough goals. You've done a lot of work with like Billy and stuff, and maybe giving them a little tricks of trade, because yourself and Robbo still know how to play up there.
Yeah, you don't need to tell Billy how to put the ball in the net, as we know. It's more about how we create openings, I think, has been the difficulty. And you see the games the same as me, so I think that's been the frustration, shall we say, that we get in a good areas, maybe the final pass is the wrong angle, we're maybe rushing to throw the ball in the box at times, which is, I'd rather just take that extra clever touch to create an opening for Billy, because it's not as if, let's be honest, it's not as if Billy's missed a barrel of chances, because that's not the case, because he doesn't do that. So I just think a wee bit more clever movement and interaction in the final thirds required.
And someone who's worked with the youth, some positive points this season, probably the emergence of Robbie Thompson and Keith Bray. How impressed have you been with those boys? Seem to have stepped up so seamlessly this season.
Tremendous, absolutely tremendous. It's great. We've got good success. I'm not going to rave on about the academy, but we've had good success over the years in the academy here with the logistics resources we have, and they're another two that's come through. We've always known for 5, 6, 7 years that these were two right good players. Keith, we'd taken in a wee bit earlier, and to see him come to the fore so quickly has been it's a real shot in the arm for everyone in the academy. And Robbie's a good player. He's my sort of player. They're both my sort of player, interestingly enough, that they play in that area, that they can try and make things happen. They need to add, as I say, they need to add goals to their game, but that'll come with a bit more experience.
Too much hype, Robbie looks like a certain son of yours on the ball with his left foot, but maybe he can sort of hit those sights in years to come.
Hopefully, that would be nice, yeah. That's the aspiration, and junior has shown it can be done, shall we say. I say that the academy kids, it can be done. So you'll need luck along the way, but they've got good potential.
Last night United, you sort of touched on it, ideal game. We've always sort of done well since we're down in the championship against the bigger teams, the Commanders, the likes over the years. So ideally, perfect game for the boys tomorrow.
Yeah, so no pressure then. Cheers. It'll be. I think it's a good game. You're right. I can see where you're coming from. I think it's a good game to play. If you're at home of one of the so-called smaller teams, although as we all know, it's a very difficult league to. Perceptions in this league are so strange, because it's probably the hardest league in British football to try and predict the results on a Saturday. Morton got to Tannadice last week and get a very valuable point and could have easily won it by all accounts. So, but it's a good game to play in. I'm not a great believer in past records, to be honest. I think that what I just want is the players to play to their full ability on Saturday, and that will give us a right good chance.
they look more challenges.
Yeah, there's just a quick one from me. I mean, the board made the decision last week, which was tough for everyone, obviously, and Billy and Barry mainly, you know, but speaking to Scott Gardner this week, you know, the decision was made because it allows plenty of time, and Mark Bridges has said you're only 5 league games into the season. You know, there's a lot that can still be achieved by this group this season.
Yeah, absolutely. There is, and having seen the training, Paul, I would that would really back up what you've just said. There is time to turn things around. There's loads of other teams have done it. We've actually done it a couple of times in the season that's gone by ourselves. So yeah, we have got time. Obviously, the sooner we're going a wee round, the better. But the good thing for me is I think there is. Well, I don't think, I know because I know the game, that there is good ability in that changing room.
That's all I need. Thanks, Charlie.
No bother.